Hi, everybody. It's Joe from PrepAgent, ready to begin. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up, and we'll get started. Yay. Okay, ready to go. I see my first thumbs up. I see people ask about math. I don't know why people focus on the math so much. I don't do math because many states don't even ask about math. And the states who do ask about math, it's not a big part of their exam. But some people want to obsess about it, think about it, and worry about math. And they end up not studying the rest of the stuff that makes it so easy to pass. I've seen so many people fail because they obsess so much about the math when it's just not that big of a portion of their exam. But people freak out about what they're nervous about. Some people it's long word problems, some people it's math, and they completely ignore the stuff that's easy to learn, like simple vocabulary. And I emphasize over and over again, focus on the easy stuff. I mean, for example, if you're taking a 100-question test and you get 5 math problems and people say I failed because of the math, I often ask, well, what happened to the other 95% of the test? I mean, people want to obsess and focus about those 5 questions when there's 95 other questions. You can't fail because of the math if your state has it. Let me say it like this. It's mathematically impossible to fail because of the math. I'm not saying totally ignore the math if that's what's in your state, but I'm saying don't spend all your time obsessing over math if it's something that's not strong for you, where you could be mastering stuff that may be a little easier. Okay? So everybody, it's a little different. And also the other thing is a lot of people look like math problems, but they're not really math problems. They have numbers and they think it's like a math problem. If you had 15, then you had more than a 100-question test. But if you guys want to do your thing, that's fine too. I could just give you what I know has worked for a lot of people in the past. And even if it was 15 questions out of 100, you still have 85 questions to, master. Okay. All right, let's look at one of these annoying word problems. People hate word problems too. All right. Assume a broker took an open listing. He then made an oral agreement with another broker to share the commission on the property. The second broker procured an offer resulting in the sale of the property. The first broker refused to share his commission on the sale. A, he needs not share the commission as it was an open listing. B, the second broker would stand a good chance of winning a court suit for his share of the commission. C, the second broker could sue the seller for his share of the commission. Or D, he need not share the commission due to the statute of frauds. Okay, the answer is B. Good. One last note about the math, because people talk about it a lot. The other thing I found after doing this so many years, people are either good at the math or they're not. People who are good at math, I found, can look at it and they don't even have to learn anything and they could do it immediately. People who are not good at math, I mean, it's kind of, you can't go redo 7th grade all over again. It's just kind of hard to kind of go back. And that's why I said those people, it may be better to focus on the other stuff. The people who are good at math, I've just found, just look at those problems, they know how to do it. Just very simple. For people like myself who had trouble with it, I mean, it would have to almost redo 7th grade to get good at it again. I'm not saying 7th grade math, but it kind of is. All right, move on to the next question. The duration of a listing agreement is A, 90 days, B, whatever is negotiated between the broker and the seller, C, whatever is negotiated between the agent and the seller, or D, 3 months. And the answer is B. Who here knows what are the essentials of a valid contract? Anybody? Anybody know? Do you know? What do you guys think? The essentials of a valid contract. What are the essentials of a valid contract? We're looking at contracts today, so everybody's got to know that. So we got competent parties is one thing, good. Mutual agreement, lawful object, and consideration. Capable, mutual, consideration, agreement, good. All right, you need agreement, you need capable, it needs to be lawful, it needs to be consideration. Good job, everybody. Which of the following is an acceptable termination date for enforceable exclusive listing of residential real property? A, 3 days after notice of rescission of the seller. B, 90 days after the listing agreement is signed. C, whenever the loan is funded. Or D, 90 days from the completion of construction. And the answer is B. Have we all chosen a broker to work for so we're ready to go after we pass? I hope so. Okay, good. And Judy, the word enforceable is just there to throw you off. Don't worry too much about it. It's a valid listing by nature, it's enforceable. Okay. Which of the following statements about an option is false? A, the optionee does not have any rights in the land. B, consideration must be given by the optionee to the optionor. C, a lease option is a unilateral contract. Or D, the option binds the optionee to the performance. Selena, make sure your settings are on 720. Click the settings and make sure it's on HD 720. Okay, the answer is D. The option binds the optionee to the performance. A safety clause is found in A, lease agreement, B, listing agreement, C, loan broker's statement, or D, deposit receipt. And the answer is B, listing agreement. Do you guys know what a safety clause is? Who could tell me what a safety clause is? Who could explain to me what that is? What's a safety clause? Okay, who could define a safety clause for me? Okay, it protects your commission. How so? How does it protect or ensure a commission? Okay, so basically, it's a chance to close deals with a buyer you found during the term of the listing, after the listing expires. It is not a time to find a new buyer. It's a time to close deals with buyers you found during the term of the listing. It is not a chance to find a new buyer. All right, that's what that's all about. Okay. A contract, which according to the statute of frauds, must be in writing in order to maintain a court action for enforcement is A, any agreement which is not to be performed within 1 year. B, the employment of a broker to exchange the lease on properties zoned for retail. C, the employment of a business opportunity to sell stock. Or D, a bill of sale on real property. And the answer is A. If a person obtains a contract through duress, that contract is void, valid, voidable, or unenforceable. What do you guys think? And the answer is, who can tell Judy what duress is? Anybody know what duress is? Who could define duress? Okay, duress, good, by force, threatening. It's forcing somebody to do what they don't want to do. And that could be done by threatening somebody, pressuring somebody. It's basically forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. Okay. The law that requires real estate contracts to be in writing to be enforceable is the A, statute of frauds, B, law of descent and distribution, C, parole evidence rule, or D, statute of limitations. A, statute of frauds. A property owner lists his property for sale with a broker. During the negotiations, the owner told the broker that the owner wanted $138,000 for the property. And anything above that amount, the broker could keep as his commission. The listing with this type of provision is known as the A, net listing, B, gross listing, C, non-exclusive listing, or D, open listing. All right, good. A, net listing. You guys are officially my favorite group ever. Because when I hear net listing, I usually hear everybody writing, it's illegal in my state, legal in my state, illegal in my state. And you guys just went with the answer. Super happy. Okay, because what you guys seem to understand is, of course, it's legal in some states, illegal in other, but you still got to know what it is. Whether it's illegal in your state or legal in your state, you got to know the definition. And sometimes people are obsessed with, is it illegal or legal, without knowing the definition of it. Yeah, so Angela's right. You must know it. It's crazy to me sometimes when people think something's illegal, therefore you do not need to know it. And that contradicts a lot of what you have to learn here. Okay, but you guys are awesome. You just went with the answer because you guys are interested in passing the test, not regurgitating something that your teacher may have said that's not relevant. Albert is a tenant and agrees to perform certain repairs for Bob, who is the owner. Despite repeated promises, Albert fails to perform the repairs. Bob then writes up a contract and compels Albert to sign it by threatening to evict him if he does not. Such a contract would be A, illegal, B, void, C, enforceable, D, voidable. Okay, the answer is D, voidable, because we see that word threatening. Right, guys? You see the word threatening. Okay, I was just thinking about how we started today talking about the math. So I do hear you guys, so I will try and put one together on math, or I will try and have Sylvia or one of our new teachers that we're training do one on math. But I only hope you guys hear what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying like don't study math, but I hope you guys hear what I'm saying is that I really don't want you guys falling into this trap, which I see over and over and over and over again to the point where it drives me nuts, of people focusing on the math so much that they disregard 90% of the other information. And then they turn around, they write to me, I failed because of the math. And if I look at their scores, I look at it and I say, well, what about all the other information you could have nailed down? Because the math is not as simple as just memorizing a question. You may have to understand formulas, which could take a lot of time, and that time could be better spent doing other things, so it ensures you pass. So I will put together a webinar if you guys promise to not obsess about the math and let it take away from other things that you need to learn. All right, you guys promise? Because I really don't want you guys falling into that trap, which I've seen so many times. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where people will sit there and talk about the math and stress and stress and stress and stress. They don't learn easy things like ad valorem according to value, you know, things of that nature. So I want you guys to also remember my philosophy on passing, okay? And my philosophy on passing is understand the easy stuff before you go to the hard stuff. Do a progression, because you guys got to remember you don't need 100% to pass. Memorize something cold turkey or understand it 100% before you move on to the next topic. As you guys are studying, you guys should do this bit by bit. I hope you guys don't mind me going on this tangent a little bit, but I want to talk a second about the way you're going about studying. Is that okay? I hope you guys don't mind, but I want to make sure we're taking the right strategy towards approaching this material, if you guys don't mind. Would you guys mind if I just took a few minutes to talk about that? Okay. So you guys are studying now, and a lot of people just try and do everything all at once and just kind of do questions. How many of you guys have just been doing questions after question after question after question, and that's it? Just kind of doing endless questions. Have any of you guys been doing that? If you are one of those people doing that, chances are you are getting extremely frustrated, okay? That's an exercise in frustration. It's not learning anything. It's just making you feel stupid. When you're not stupid, you're just going about it the wrong way, all right? But it makes you feel stupid because you're doing all these things, you're getting it wrong, and it's just not helping, okay? The other reason why that's bad, when you guys do questions, all right, endless questions, you are seeing wrong information. Do you guys know what I mean by that? Because when you do a question, you see 4 options, okay? When you are 100% confident, if you prepared correctly, you really only see that one correct option. But if you haven't prepared correctly, you're going to mull over those other 3 options, and they're going to stick in your head because you're not sure if they're right or not, okay? I'll give you an example. If I said to you, what color is the sky? And the options are blue, green, red, yellow, and white. All right. Your initial response would be blue. But if you're nervous, you'd be like, well, in Arizona, they have a nice mix of red and yellow, a beautiful sunset's red and yellow. And, clouds are white. And sometimes when the dust comes over, it's white. Okay. But I know it's blue. And then when you go back and do that question on your exam, you're going to think, oh, it's blue, but there's something about red and yellow involved in all this. I remember something about red and yellow. And it tricks your mind. Whereas if you studied correctly, you would know it's blue and that's it. Does that make sense, that example, for you guys? Hopefully it does. So when you do the questions and you're mulling over wrong information, it actually hurts you. Okay? So what you need to do is before you do anything, memorize the vocabulary cold turkey. What does that mean? It means printing out that form and be able to write it out. You could write out all the definitions without any help, like you know it. Then you do the vocabulary questions, the vocabulary section we have on our PrepAgent website. After you do that, then you could take on a section such as contracts. Do not move on to another section until you get 90% on contracts, if that's the section you're doing. Do not do another section until you've mastered the previous one. Okay, everybody got that? Do not just go right to the master exam. Then you do the second one, make sure you get 90% there. Then you could get 90% on 2 of them, 3 of them, and then once you get 90% on all of them individually, then and only then do you do the master exams. Do you guys got that? When you don't understand a concept, by all means, we made these videos to help. We have these webinars for you guys to listen to, all those different things. But in lieu of studying, make sure you go through that process first. If you do that, you guys will pass. If you just jump head into questions, it'll be an exercise in frustration. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up if they got that. Okay, so we don't just jump right into questions. There's a process here. Okay. All right, so here we look. Avoidable contract is one which A, is binding on neither party and not subject to ratification. B, is subject to disciplinary action. C, is valid but can be voided by interested parties for due cause. Or D, has no face or effect. And the answer is C. Good. Valid, void, voidable. Who knows the difference? Who can tell me the difference between valid, void, and voidable? Valid, void, and voidable. What is the difference between valid, void, and voidable? Who's got this? Okay, valid, it has all 4 essentials of the valid contract. Voidable also has all 4 of the essentials of the valid contract, but a reason you can rescind. Void lacks one of the 4 essentials. Okay, everybody got that? So void lacks one of the 4 essentials of a valid contract. And remember what those 4 essentials are, right, guys? Okay, so let's write down those 4 essentials again one more time, because it's super important. I want you guys to write capable, agreement, lawful, and consideration. So we want to narrow it down to as few words as possible. So capable, agreement, lawful, and consideration. Capable, agreement, lawful, consideration. Everybody write that down. Capable, agreement, lawful, and consideration. Please write that down. All right, good. So those are the four essentials. So cables, capable parties, agreement means like mutual consent, meeting of the minds, whatever it may be. Lawful means that it's legal, and consideration is the way you're getting paid, whether it's money or hugs or whatever it is. Unfortunately, Angela, there's no fun way to remember that one. It's a lot of acronyms, but not on that one. So you just got to remember those. Angela said, I forget they're called like a cold and Pete. So Pete, what does Pete stand for? Who knows? So Angela wrote about Pete and a cold. So first, what's Pete? Who knows what Pete is an acronym for? What does that help you remember? What does Pete help you remember? What do you guys think? Government powers. Good. Nice job, Comita Haley. Government powers. Pete stands for police power, eminent domain, taxation, and escheat. Police power, eminent domain, taxation, and escheat. She also wrote about a cold. What does a cold stand for? Or what is that a memory technique for? What is a cold a memory technique for? Any of you guys know? A cold. The cold is for the essentials of an agency relationship. A cold is the essentials of an agency relationship. And a cold stands for accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. I'll say it again for you guys. A cold is for an agency relationship, and it stands for accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. If you guys like me to say it one more time, just say so, and I'll be happy to do so. Okay. Now, if we look at the ones on the board here, we see, in accordance to the statute of frauds, which of the following must be in writing? A, a listing contract. B, a lease period for longer than 1 year. C, a single family residence offered by sale by owner. Or D, a lease on a fruit nut bearing tree. The time the fruit is in season can be picked. Okay, and I heard yes, please. I'm repeating that, so I will. A cold is an acronym to help the agency relationship, help you remember agency relationship, and it stands for accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. Okay, great job, guys. The buyer of a home was not informed that the house was on a septic tank system. The buyer has the right to A, remain silent, B, sue the broker for his license, C, sue the title company for failure to discover the problem, D, rescind the contract. And the answer is D, rescind the contract. Just a reminder for you guys, tomorrow we're doing it at night with Sylvia again. If you guys were with us last night, Sylvia did a great job. She was there. Tomorrow is an evening webinar. It's 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, and you guys do the math for where you are in between. So tomorrow night we're with Sylvia. In which of the following contract does one of the parties agree not to revoke an offer for a certain period of time? A, estate for years. B, a listing contract. C, an option. D, a ratification. Well, I got why not you? Well, very simply said, if I repeat this stuff every single day, I will go crazy. Okay, here we go. C, an option. Definitely need other people to do this too. And can you guys imagine talking about this every day for like years and years and years? I'm sure a lot of you guys, the moment you're past, you never want to look at this stuff ever again. Okay, an option. Good. One of my pet peeves is after people pass, they throw their books in the trash or they burn them or things like that. If you guys pass, do me a favor and donate your books to somebody else or find a good cause for them. Okay. What listing requires an owner to pay a commission, even though she sells the property herself? Well, thanks, Annabelle. Okay. A, net listing. B, open listing. C, exclusive right to sell listing. Or D, exclusive agency listing. C, exclusive right to sell listing. An optionor and an optionee make a contract for an option on a commercial piece of property. If the optionee decides to exercise his option, when must he perform? A, he must exercise the option under the terms of the option contract. B, he must exercise the option when the optionor demands it. C, he can exercise an option whenever he wants. Or D, he must exercise an option within the 6 months under the state law. And the answer is A. Judy asked me, what is an exclusive agency? An exclusive agency is a type of listing where only one broker can be hired, but if the owner sells them themselves, the broker would get no commission. Okay, moving right along. Which of the following is not true about an option? A, the optionee has no interest or estate in the property until the option is exercised. B, the optioner can revoke the offer to sell during the designated period of time. C, the optioner retains the money paid for the option even if unexercised. Or D, the option rights are assignable unless otherwise noted. Good to see you, Rose Norwood. I'm glad you can make it. And the answer is B. The optioner can revoke the offer to sell during the designated period of time. A contract in which all parties have fulfilled their promises is A, executed contract, B, completed contract, C, executory contract, or D, expired contract. And the answer is A, executed contract. The primary purpose of a listing agreement is to A, list all improvements and amenities of the property. B, give the broker permission to sell all of his principal's properties. C, serve as a guide for a sales contract. D, serve as a contract for employment between the owner and the broker. And the answer is D. I hope all of you guys have joined the Real Estate Exam Study Group on Facebook. On Facebook, we have the Real Estate Exam Study Group. And please note, if you try and join the group and you do not answer the questions of what state you're in, you will not be accepted into the group. You will be rejected. Okay? Because that's the way we know if you're a spammer or not. It's our method of checking if you're a real person. There is a link. I can't get it now because I'm doing the webinar now. But just go on Facebook and look up PrepAgent Real Estate Exam Study Group. CL Everhart says, does every state have a federal and state test? No. Some mix the federal information with the state information in the same test. Some separate the state-specific information from the federal information. Regardless, all of you guys have to know that federal information. Okay, California mixes it into one. It's just a method of allocating the test. Okay. Which of the following events does not usually terminate a listing? A, expiration of the agreed upon time period. B, death of either the selling broker or buyer. C, death of either the listing broker or seller. Or D, foreclosure on the listed property. And the answer is B, death of either the selling broker or buyer. Good. All right, guys, well, that's it for today. I will see you guys on Friday. Tomorrow night, you guys are with Sylvia, and we'll go from there. Tiffany, did you have a question I did not answer? Let me see what your question was. I'm not sure how to scroll up on this thing. Here, if you want, Tiffany, just ask it again. All right. Oh, I'd have to look at that last question. Can't find it now. All right. Well, anyways, guys, I'll see you guys on Friday. I'll be on the chat tomorrow night. Have a great day. Enjoy Wednesday.